Hi there, poodling around us. Today we're hitting a peak and we're talking adventures in the mountains, both on two wheels and of the Wintersports variety. With the help of today's guest, Richard Wilford, who is a director of Atlas Ski Co. and Atlas Ride Co., I'm going to whisk you off to the French Alps, to a place not too far from Geneva in Switzerland. Together, we're going to discover the delights of a place called Morzine, exploring all that Atlas can offer to you if you fancy whizzing across a piste or hitting a trail. You can, as we discover, be anything from beginner to pro, and fear not if you are more of a sporting softie, as you will also learn that there is something for everyone, even if you are just a lover of fine food. Regardless of where you live in the world, this episode can inspire your travels, even if you just want to explore the whisky distilleries of Scotland, as Atlas has so many resorts and different options available worldwide. So let's listen to what Richard has to tell us, and what special offer he has also created for Catapult PR and its poodling around listeners. Hello, Richard. Thanks for joining us today. I think this interview is going to be a real treat for anyone who's an outdoor adrenaline junkie or winter sports fan. And I'm very excited to find out more from you. But just by way of introduction, as we start this interview, could you give us the names of your adventure travel businesses and your role within them so everybody knows who you are?
Yeah, hi Jane. Thank you very much for having me on today. So businesses are Atlas Ski Co., which is our ski company, obviously, and then we've got Atlas Ride, which is our mountain bike company, which kind of does mountain bike, bit of gravel riding as well and stuff. But yeah, kind of we've got the ski and the mountain bike at the moment. That's where we're at right now.
Great. And which of these businesses was your first business baby, and what does it offer?
So the first one was the ski company. So moved out to the French Alps in 2008 was my first ski season. And we set up a small company called Ski Season Beds, which was basically to accommodate seasonaires who would finish university. I had 500 people at my Bournemouth University, part of the ski asylum there. So yeah, we basically had the first company called Ski Season Beds, and that basically did seasonal accommodation where you'd come, stay for 5 months, get yourself a part-time job or a full-time job, ski as much as you could, go out, have fun. And that was that one. That was how it all started.
Right, okay, that sounds interesting. So that's how you got into this world. Now, your current business, both of your businesses, are actually based on a town called Morzine, aren't they? So why Morzine? Where exactly is that, and what's so great about it from a mountain biking and ski perspective?
So Morzine is where I did my first ski season, based out in the French Alps. You're about an hour and 15 minutes drive from Geneva. So a lot of people land into Geneva, quickly whiz up into the mountains. You're on the French-Swiss border as well. So basically it's part of a resort called the Porte du Soleil, the Doors of the Sun, which is one of the largest linked ski areas in the world. 12 resorts. So yeah, had a really good reputation for skiing and snowboarding. And there was a lot of kind of English speaking companies operating there, transfer companies, chalet companies. So it just seemed kind of a natural place to gravitate towards for my first ski season. And I was a snowboarder at the time, and it had some very, very good snow parks for all the jumps and the rails and stuff. But yeah, that's how I ended up there, really, to be fair.
And your first business there, am I right in thinking, was the mountain biking to start with?
So the very first one was Ski Season Beds, where we did the seasonal accommodation, and then opened up that seasonal accommodation in the summer for the mountain bikers to stay June, July, and August. And then it all developed into kind of selling other companies' ski accommodation on a weekly commission basis. Then we launched some of our own stuff, and then we launched our own mountain bike catered chalets. So yeah, it all grew from that, kind of grew together, but as separate businesses at the same time as well, because mountain bike and ski, quite different activities really, with different clientele. Back then, they've merged a lot more now. I think COVID and all that time, kind of people rode bikes a lot. It became a lot more mainstream than mountain biking, but yeah, that's how it kind of started.
Yeah. And what sort of mountain biking experience can somebody enjoy in Morzine then?
So a lot of people think because it's in the Alps, they think it's all like big downhill jumps and all this kind of stuff. But you can anything from absolute beginners up to World Cup racing professionals, If you imagine the mountain in the winter with the ski pistes, and you've got green pistes, which are your family friendly ones, which kind of traverse from side to side down the mountain. And then you've got your black runs, which kind of go straight down. So, yeah, we've seen 3-year-olds on balance bikes whizzing around on these green family-friendly trails with their dad or mum following behind them. And then you get the likes of the World Cup races that are doing 60, 70-foot jumps and going 50 kilometers an hour. So there's something for everyone out there, And then there's even a lot of stuff for leisure cyclists if you want to pedal around the gravel roads on the mountains and around the mountain lakes and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, we're starting to see the mountains really become a kind of a multi-activity family holiday destination, really.
So you literally need no experience. You could just turn up and start doing something there, could you?
If you can ride your bike around the park or on gravel roads and stuff in the UK and you've got fairly competent kind of mountain bike skills, you can stand up, you can go around the corner, like you could come to the Alps, you could get a lesson, or you could go up the chairlift, find the green beginner family runs. And yes, some of them are very, very simple and they're very well signposted as well. It clearly says that this is a green run, this is a blue, this is a red, this is a black. So yeah, I would say a complete beginner I wouldn't recommend it without a lesson and some coaching and stuff, but a complete beginner could come and ride around the mountain lakes because it's just a path around, essentially like a canal path around some of the mountain lakes. But then once you venture up into the mountains, you do need some more advanced skills. You need to have a little bit of coaching and stuff, So yeah, there's a little bit for everyone out there, really.
And do you need sort of a certain level of fitness, would you say, before you even attempted to do any of that?
Well, I mean, to maintain your fitness, to maintain a good bike ride, I suppose you need a base level of fitness. But actually, you don't need to be able to pedal up the mountain because you hook your bike onto the back of the ski lift. So push it up to the ski lift, you hook it on the lift in front of you, then the lift behind you is the one that you sit on. Then the pisters at the top, the lift people, they all take the bike off for you and give it back to you. So no, you don't need a huge amount of fitness. It doesn't involve massive amounts of pedaling and stuff. So yeah, and there's even trails for disabled riders that are in kind of 4x4 bikes with 4 wheels. Yeah, so yeah, and that's getting actually really, really popular. The trails are being made wider, access for everyone. The lift companies will stop the lift. They'll put the quad-wheeled bike on, and then they'll take you up to the top. And it's pretty impressive, some of the stuff those guys can get down as well.
Yes. Sounds like they're very expert. So do people hire the bikes from you, or do they ever bring their own, or what's the situation?
Yeah, we have a partnership with Specialized. Specialized, one of the biggest bike brands in the world. So we've got a lot of kind of the more hardcore mountain bikes that we rent out, But a lot of people fly with their bikes. It's 90 quid return with EasyJet, free with BA or Swiss Air. But it all depends on what level of mountain biking you want to do. If you basically want to poodle around the mountain lakes, you could get a hardtail, simple bike. If you want to go off on huge adventures, you can rent electric e-bikes as well. So yeah, there's something for everyone. We rent bikes. We have our own fleet for our own clients. We have a mechanic in the resort and everything. And then there's so many shops because all of the ski shops that operate for skiing in the winter, they flip over to mountain bikes in the summer. So yeah, you've probably got 10, 12 mountain bike rental shops in Morzine as well in the French Alps.
Right, okay. And what's the real highlight of mountain biking in Morzine?
I think the neighbouring town of Morzine, Leger, which is literally a 5-minute pedal, hosted the World Cup, the downhill World Cup. And I think they saw around 200,000 people visit the resort over the weekend. So yeah, it's the pinnacle of the sport. The Port de Soleil is vast. It's part of France, Switzerland as well. Champery in Switzerland has also hosted the World Cup, and they're hosting the World Championships next year. Leger's hosted the World Cup multiple times. So that's probably the highlight of the mountain biking scene out there. But it's unbelievably busy in the summer months for mountain biking now. Thousands and thousands of people in resort every week, really.
And it's become so popular what you do. and your model, hasn't it? That you've extended it to other places around the world.
Yes, well, we had expanded down to Italy, to the Maritime Alps, where they meet the sea in a place called Finale Ligure. If you kind of fly into Nice, you travel along the coast of Monaco, and just past Monaco's Finale Ligure. Beautiful food, awesome culture, mountain bike trails that descend down to the beach. You can have a swim in the Mediterranean. So, yeah, and that's hosted the Enduro World Series, which is one of the best mountain bike events in the world as well. But also during COVID, we had to we had to be pretty quick on our toes to keep offering our clients something because they couldn't travel abroad. So we started mountain bike trips in Scotland, Wales, the Lake District, the Brecon Beacons. And now the Scottish tours are very, very popular with the Americans because they love coming over to the whiskey distilleries, see the Golden Eagles and all that kind of stuff, And Scotland's got a lot of history linked to America. So, yeah, all over the world now. Spain, Italy, yeah, a lot of resorts. And just launched Whistler in Canada as well, which is a very popular mountain bike destination,
Yeah, I can imagine. So, how does the whole thing work? Somebody gets on the plane and they arrive at Geneva, I presume. Is that right? And
So the
then
destinations, yep, Geneva.
do you transfer them? Do they transfer themselves, or how does that
Yeah,
work?
it all depends how involved they want us to be. Some people want the freedom of jumping on an EasyJet, getting to Geneva, having a hire car. They'll go and explore a little bit around Lake Geneva. They might go down to Lausanne, Montreux, then drive up to us. If they don't want to do that, they can literally get on a flight, land in Geneva. We'll have a transfer van waiting for them, pick them up, whiz them straight to their accommodation, welcome them with a nice cold beer or a glass of fizz or a soft drink. And then, we have options of catered chalets where you've got a mechanic on site, you've got chefs, you've got hosts. You can have the full package or you can do a self-catered apartment and we'll just be there to assist you during the week as well. But some of the bigger tours in Spain and Scotland, we literally do everything. So they'll arrive at the airport and from the minute they land, we're looking after them. We'll take them to restaurants. We'll build their bike for them. We guide them during the day. We sort their lunches out. We do absolutely everything. We take them to the whiskey distilleries, So it all depends how much involvement they want. We offer quite a lot of options.
And that's all very flexible when they book, is it? Do they discuss that with you when they're booking, what they want?
So there's a lot of conversations, calls, emails and stuff because we have our set itineraries and our set tours for all of these destinations. But a lot of groups also like to do their own thing. They've heard about a specific trail they want to ride. They've heard about a specific distillery they want to go to or something. So our guides, our vehicles, our bikes are all there ready for them. And we put together custom tours for multiple groups. I mean, I think Scotland, the custom trips are outweighing the kind of scheduled trips now, because there's just so much on offer.
And I think also perhaps the Americans want that more tailored approach, don't they?
I think when the Americans, they don't get as much holiday as the Europeans. And when they travel quite big. They like to get a lot in and they'll kind of link it with other stuff. So they'll have a couple of days exploring Edinburgh. Then we'll pick them up from an Edinburgh hotel. They'll be with us for a week or so. And then they'll nip off to the Isle of Skye maybe for something else. So, yeah. I mean, we can do it all, really. If they want to play around the golf, I love golf. I'll play around the golf for them. As long as they pay the green fees in Scotland, because it's pretty expensive to play golf up there.
Well, there are some magnificent golf courses, aren't there? So plenty to choose from.
Unbelievable.
Now, back to Morzine. I think you've sort of intimated that you might get kind of professional bikers coming and doing things with you. So, what do you offer to them? Because they've obviously got a much greater level of experience, haven't they? How does that work?
So we get an awful lot of professional World Cup mountain bike athletes coming to stay with us because the World Cup series is kind of North America, some down in like Australia, then most of it's in Europe. So they'll come and they'll stay in Europe for a prolonged period of time. So when they're not at the races, because Morzine is such an amazing training ground, there's so much terrain there, so many trails, they'll come and stay with us. And when they stay with us, they've got a mechanic, they've got workshops they can use, they've got good mountain bike specific accommodation with secure alarmed garages, so they know their bikes are safe. They've got somewhere they can wash all their equipment, so yeah, that's what we offer to them. They get the kind of the perks of what a holiday maker would get, in between traveling around all these destinations in vehicles and different hotels and all that stuff. It gives them a bit of a base to film some content, relax, train, and all that kind of stuff, So yeah, we've got a lot of ambassadors, partner athletes and stuff as well.
So this infrastructure sounds like it's a really good thing for them, that it's all everything that they could possibly want is in exactly the right place. Yeah.
And if you have a team from America, we have an athlete called Nico Mullally. He's starting his own bike brand and he's got a team of 6 riders now. So they all come over from America. They're in Europe for 2 or 3 months. They'll base themselves with us in Morzine. They'll travel off to Austria, Poland, Italy, Switzerland, and then they'll come back to us as the base, So yeah, this gives them a home from home, really.
Yeah. Now, moving on to the ski side, what do you offer to those who want to take to the slopes? And, what's the attraction of Morzine for them?
Well, I think Morzine is a year-round village. It's got about 5,000 people that live there permanently. It wasn't built as a purpose-made ski resort, like for example, Flaine in France. Like that's a bit of a concrete jungle. It was just built there to house skiers. Morzine's a beautiful town. It's got rivers. It's got Olympic indoor-outdoor swimming pools, ice rink for the hockey teams. It's got high ropes in the trees. Like it's stunning. But Morzine sits at 1,000 meters, so it's quite low in terms of skiing. But within one lift, you're in Avoriaz at 1,800 meters, and then you have the whole Port de Soleil, which is over 600 kilometers of piste to ski. And you can have breakfast in France, you can have a lunch over in Switzerland, and a bit of border hopping and stuff. Like there's just something there for absolutely everyone. The kids' ski schools, they start at the bottom of the lift in Morzine. It's so easy to get to. There's a little train that takes you around the village, You've got unbelievable views of Mont Blanc. You've got the mountain lakes and stuff. So there's just something. It's just a beautiful French village that's got something for everyone, There's beginner green trails for all the families up to like the infamous Swiss Wall, which is an unpisted black run from France down into Switzerland. So yeah, and it's so close to Geneva Airport as well. So it's really family friendly. You're only in the vehicles for an hour and 15 minutes or so. So yeah, it's got a lot going for it, Morzine.
I'm thinking James Bond now. I saw these visions of Bond going down the slopes as you're saying that.
Well, you've got the James Bond gondola over in Chamonix, which is only 45 minutes away, which was in, I can't remember what film it was in, but yeah, you've got the old famous Bond gondola over there.
Yeah. Now, I think with your chalets, you've got 2 different options, haven't you? You've got a self-catering option, but you've also got an option where you provide meals for people who are staying. How does that work?
So yeah, we offer self-catering apartments where we can just give you, we can do a welcome hamper for you, do your lift pass, your ski hire and stuff, or you can come and be literally looked after from start to finish. So we've got professional chefs. My business partner, Ben, is a sommelier, his wife, Tiffany, professional chefs. So that's how it all kind of started. And you can choose, 5 nights of catered food, 3 courses. We include really nice house wine and beer with your dinner as well. We also offer short stays where you can have 3 nights, Sunday, Thursday, Sunday, and you get 3 nights or 2 nights of catering. So yeah, traditional catered chalet kind of setup. But since Brexit, it's changed quite a lot. You can't really have, it's not your typical chalet food now. It's been elevated. It's a bit of a higher level with professional chefs and that kind of stuff. So yeah, really, really nice experience.
And what sort of meals are we talking then?
Confit duck, you can have steaks, we can do stir fries. There's so many different options, Yeah, the menus are quite varied and really, really nice, We've kind of stepped away from the traditional big lasagnas, big tartiflettes, big beef bourguignons. The food's kind of a bit nicer now, a bit more elevated. And good, and the wine's lovely as well. So yeah, it's really nice experience.
Yeah, especially if you're from abroad, I guess, and you're not used to that, the Americans, etc. must really love that, the kind of taste of the local area, I guess.
Yeah, well, definitely. And our food stays the same in the summer for the mountain bikers. And the mountain bike holiday is traditionally not as kind of elevated as the ski holiday. So some of the mountain bikers come out and they're having duck and all this kind of stuff. And they really, it's opening their eyes. They're like, wow, this is kind of amazing,
Rather than burgers.
Yeah, but 2 nights of the week they'll eat out in town and they'll go and have a really good, and French are renowned for having nice kind of raw burgers and stuff, Yeah, so yeah, it's 5 nights catered during the week, and then 2 eating out in the restaurants to get some local Savoyard kind of food and stuff, you know.
Yeah. And looking at the chalets themselves, are they modern? Are they traditional French Alpine chalets, or is it a mix?
Yeah, so the ones that are catered are nice and modern. So they've been renovated recently. They're all kind of en suites, double or twin rooms, got balconies and things. You know, you've got big lounge areas, TVs. There's some Xboxes and Nintendo Wii's for the kids in the play areas and stuff. So yeah, nice modern chalets, hot tubs, saunas. There's a lot of more. There's some very, very beautiful old traditional chalets in Morzine as well. But ours are kind of a bit more modern, a bit more contemporary, a bit newer, you know.
Mm. And what's the smallest number of people who can book a chalet, and what's the largest that you can cater for?
So we cater for quite a lot of big groups as well, actually. One of our chalets can sleep up to 28 people over 14 rooms. So, yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome. The 3 floors, but then you all eat down in the main open kitchen area. So some weeks, peak weeks, like half term, the big chalets are exclusive book only. New Year's Eve, they're exclusive book only. So you take the whole place. One of them's 20. You can combine it with another one upstairs. So it's 28, like I said. But in non-peak weeks, we can take a booking for one person. You could book a room to yourself. You know, if there's 4 of you, you could take 2 rooms. We offer a single supplement as well. So if there's a group of 3 and you wanted a room each, you could all do that. So yeah, very flexible, you know.
Okay. And, moving on to snow, because in a sort of world of climate change, that can be challenging sometimes. How does Morzine fare when it comes to snow?
So Morzine sits at 1,000 meters, which is quite low for a ski resort, and the piste dropped down to 1,000. But like I said, one of the lifts from Morzine is straight up to 1,600 meters, then another one straight up to 1,800, then up to 2,400. So it has its pros and cons, you know. Like although it's not ski in, ski out, where Avoriaz is ski in, ski out, but it's not freezing cold all the time. It's not icy pavements and lethal for the children and stuff, you know. Like if you want that, it's much better. But yeah, they've got great snowmaking machines as well. And what we do benefit from is like a bizarre little microclimate where the cold air comes down from the north, the warm air comes up from the south, but Mont Blanc kind of stops it. So we get Avoriaz is one of the most snowshore resorts in the whole of the French Alps. So yeah, it's a really, really good destination for skiing. Your season in Morzine is not as long as some of the resorts like Teens and Val d'Isère that are much higher up. Like we won't be running the lifts in Morzine won't be running till kind of the very end of April, mid-May, but Avoriaz can stay open until kind of the end of April. It opened last weekend, believe it or not, on the 1st of December. So yeah, really, really solid 5-month season in Avoriaz.
Mm. And apart from ski, I mean, what other winter sports are available there?
There's so much of it. You can go mountain biking in the snow, you can go snowshoeing, there's ice skating, there's even kind of ice diving in the lakes, Lake Montriond. You've got the cross country skiing. Yeah, there's loads of stuff. You do husky sledding. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on, and it's becoming a real destination for kind of multi-activity. You know, it's not just about the skiing, and I think that's because it sits at that 1,000 meters. You know, it allows people to go off and go on nice walks and hikes and do the horse riding, husky sledding as well and stuff. But then you're straight up into the high altitude stuff of Avoriaz, where it's got the proper skiing and the off-piste and the backcountry and all that kind of stuff as well.
That sounds great, because if you've got a group where somebody isn't necessarily into skiing, it sounds like they can find something to do while their partner goes off and does whatever.
And because we've got the larger chalets, we're seeing like 3 generations coming. So it'll be like the grandparents, the parents, and the kids. And the grandparents will do the babysitting in the morning. Then the parents will come back from skiing. Then the grandparents will walk around town and have a coffee, hot chocolate, and go and explore, you know? So yeah, it's really nice, actually. Really nice.
Mm. And what about après ski? I mean, that's all important, isn't it? Is there plenty of opportunity to go out and enjoy yourself of an evening?
Yeah, indeed. So it all starts up on the mountain at the Folie Douce in Avoriaz. So I'm sure you've heard of the famous Folie Douce bars where they have the champagne coming out across on the wires in the boxes. And so yeah, the Avoriaz, the Folie Douce is absolutely, pumping. So we get a lot of people up there, and then they'll make their way down the lift into Morzine town itself. And Morzine's got an unbelievable amount of bars like Coyote, you've got Au Chalet, you've got Bar Robinson, which is very famous for its strong Mutzig drink. You've got the Irish bars. So yeah, there's the Cavern as well and the Opera nightclub. So yes, there's a lot of après ski opportunities, and some people come and dump their boots at the chalet and then head straight back into town, or they'll just be out all night in their boots.
Sounds fantastic.
Yeah.
If somebody hasn't brought the grandparents with them, is there any sort of nannying service to look after the kids?
Yeah, there is a lot of nanny services, and some of them will actually come to the chalet and look after your children in your chalet. So we obviously have a lot of toys for kids and stuff. I've got 2 young girls. My business partner Ben has got kids. So we understand what kind of families need, So there's boxes of toys, and yeah, you can have a full nanny service where they'll look after them the whole day. You can also put your kids into ski school from 3 years old. The French ski school, it's called the Pew Pew, and they give them lunch or breakfast, and they'll look after them for a half a day or a full day. Yeah, there's a lot of opportunities for that, and some of the nannies are pediatric nurses, so they really know what they're doing. So you can trust them. All English speaking, French speaking, So yeah, there's some really, really good ones actually. That's probably one of the best things from Morzine, because it is a very family orientated resort. There's a lot of those services available.
Oh, that sounds great. Now, what about business groups? Is there an option for them?
So yes, we do a lot of corporate trips. We use a lot of agencies as well that kind of have connections to the corporate. So we will have a group of 30 come and stay with us for a long weekend, because the corporates tend to not do full weeks. So they'll do like a Sunday to Thursday or a Thursday to Sunday. Our chalets cater perfectly for them. You've got a professional chef, you've got an open kitchen. Ben, my business partner, is a sommelier, so if they want to do like a wine tasting thing or something, they can do that as well. If they want to go and do an activity or rent a conference room in one of the hotels, we can do that for them. We recently hosted 75 people from an outdoor brand called Osprey for a global sales meeting, which was, for an outdoor brand to come and host all their kind of staff and clients in the mountains is what they should be doing, really. Be in the environment where their products are used, I suppose. But yeah, you're so close to Geneva as well. You can fly from London to Geneva in an hour, and then the transfer from Geneva into Morzine is an hour and 15 minutes. So if you've got the 6 a.m. flight, you're skiing by lunchtime. So 2.5, 3 days is completely viable, Whereas other resorts like Val Thorens, you've got a 3-hour transfer on the either side, and it takes the whole day out, I suppose.
And is it only Geneva Airport, or is there another one that you could?
Geneva's the one. It's so close, and it's an international airport, and there's flights from all over. Every UK airport pretty much flies into Geneva. If you were super stuck, you could do Turin, Milan, come through the Mont Blanc tunnel. You could do Grenoble, you could do Lyon, but yeah, Geneva's the one.
Yeah. And, would you say that you have a typical customer for your mountain bike breaks? And if so, does that differ from the typical customer for the ski breaks, or is it just a really mixed bag?
The mountain biking is a very mixed bag. Because they're mountain bikers, they come together as a group. So what we've managed to do over time is find everyone's kind of level ground. We've managed to find food that is suitable for kind of and appreciated by people who eat out at very nice restaurants, but then also appreciated by people that don't, the level of service we provide is good enough for absolutely everyone. It exceeds some people's expectations by a long way. It's expected by others, So the mountain biking is a real mixed bag, and COVID kind of boosted that even more, with everyone taking it up because you could get outside on your bike. Ski clientele have been fairly similar for quite a long time. They like a slightly higher level of service. They like some good food, some good wine. But you are noticing the crossover now, and kind of a more budget friendly ski holiday is as well, with self-catered stuff and those things, But that's where a resort like Morzine caters for all of it, because you can go out and get a pizza for €10. A beer is €6, whereas other places you're paying €10 for a pint and you're paying €20 for a pizza, So yeah, it's kind of it's a real melting pot. But the ski is a more traditional clientele that's been existed for quite a long time. The mountain bikes are a real mix.
Yeah. And you said that you get people from North America and across Europe, but do you get anybody from beyond there, from more unusual destinations, and can they book with you as well?
Yeah, of course. Well, it's atlasskico.com, it's atlasride.com, and we've had Australians, New Zealanders, Norwegians, a lot of Europeans coming to Scotland as well. Canadians all over the world. We've hosted kind of all of them, really, I suppose.
Yeah.
That's what's pretty cool about having like a multi-destination. It all started in the French Alps, but now Whistler, Spain, Scotland, all over the world,
Yeah. And why do you think you've been so successful? And what would you say differentiates your experiences from others that are out there?
I think it's our passion for what we do, like me and Ben, we are skiers, we're mountain bikers, we understand exactly what people want. Every single trip we sell, we've been on ourselves, we've put it together, we've tested it. Our litmus test is kind of that I'd never sell a holiday that I wouldn't pay for myself, We've done the heli biking in Spain, we've been in Italy, we've been all over, So yeah, I think that's the difference. And I think the level of service, we do try and go above and beyond. Like, our food is a secret weapon. People don't expect it. All of the reviews on Google are like, we come back just for the food. It's restaurant quality or better. So that's cool. Mountain bikers don't always necessarily expect that. I think it's our depth of knowledge as well of the destinations, and using local guides wherever we can, because that's so important, because they know everything from the best restaurant, the best sandwich, the fauna and flora, the best distillery. They know all the little secrets. And more importantly, they know how to get you out of tricky situations. For example, in Scotland, if the weather turns bad, they need to be able to get you off the mountain, If you're in the Alps, they need to know where emergency vehicles can meet you and stuff. Like, we need to be able to get you down to the hospital if you've had an accident. So it's all that stuff that's so important, I think that's what sets us apart a bit.
Yeah. I mean, this all sounds absolutely fantastic, but, I guess there's quite a lot of demand for this. So how far in advance should people be planning to book? What is the availability like?
I mean, for peak ski weeks, we tend to see when people are leaving, they'll email us within a week and book next year's and put a 30% deposit down, Mountain bikers, it can be exactly the same. If they want a peak week in the middle of July, they'll do the same thing, So most bookings come in, I would say, between 6 to 9 months before they travel. The really eager beavers are 12 months, and then you see all the last minute stuff as well. But I'd say, yeah, typically 6 to 9 months is kind of your average. So we'll start to get crazy busy within the next few weeks, and everyone meets up in December for all of the summer mountain bike bookings and stuff. And we've already got a huge amount of stuff booked in already,
Because we always get that sort of a peak, I suppose, after Christmas, where everybody's got their Christmas money in their pocket and they're desperate to get away. So if somebody's in that position this year, are they going to be able to go somewhere with you this year, or will it be sort of 2026?
No, of course. I mean, we will always, even if we don't have spaces left in our properties, we work with a lot of partner hotels and stuff like that, for the skiing. And there's always a few rooms left. There's always some last minute availability where certain groups, their numbers drop down. So a few rooms become spare, or people's circumstances change. Someone might cancel a self-catered week or something like that. So yeah, of course, keep your eyes on the website. And for the mountain bike stuff as well, the mountain bike stuff's not so weather dependent. A lot of skiers leave it to last minute to check the snow's going to be good and all that kind of stuff. But the mountain bikers, they'll be out there come rain or shine, it doesn't really matter. So they get it. They choose where they want to go and they get it booked up.
So finally, you've sort of said that people should watch the website. So can you tell us what that is and how people can get on there? What's the URL?
So you can go to Google and just search Atlas Ride Co for the mountain bike, and then you can search Atlas Ski Co for the skiing. On the websites, there's a little button on the top right which toggles straight between ski and mountain bike. So you can literally just press ski, mountain bike, similar to winter, summer, and it'll take you to the other site if you want to check that out as well. Because a lot of our clients cross over now as well, So yeah, Atlas Ski Co, Atlas Ride, and yeah, you'll find it.
That's fantastic. Thanks very much for your time, Richard. It's been wonderful to sort of hear about that. You've whetted my appetite, so I might have to sort of think about planning a trip sometime. But thank you very much for sharing all that with us.
No worries. Thank you very much for having me.
Well, there you are. All the inspiration you need if you fancy an action holiday rather than a beach vacation or a sightseeing tour. Poodling around Morzine sounds great fun, doesn't it? Even though I think I'd be more about the après ski. I've never tried mountain biking, I have to admit. Although I was never off my bicycle when a student at Cambridge University. I actually swore to my dad that there was no way I was taking my bike to uni. And then, within a week, I was ringing him up, begging him to make an 8-hour round trip to bring it to me, as my feet were suffering so much with all the treks to and from lectures. The joy for me in this episode also lies in seeing where my travel and tourism PR takes me and meeting new people like Richard who are offering fabulous experiences. However, strangely enough, it was one of my insurance PR clients who made the introduction for me. I do hope you might take a trip with Atlas Ride Co. or Atlas Ski Co. if it all sounded too good to miss. I'm delighted to tell you that Richard has made that even more tempting if it's the Wintersports break that you're after, by creating an offer for Catapult PR and its Poodling Around listeners. The offer is a 10% discount on all remaining winter 24-25 ski holidays. So you will need to get your skates on if you want to take advantage. When booking, you will need to quote the code CATAPULT10. That's CATAPULT10, all as one word. I do hope that's going to prove useful, so you can learn firsthand how Richard's clear passion translates into wonderful mountain experiences. That concludes this episode, so, as always, take great care of yourself, whether you are mooching around Malibu, or, in this case, already merrily enjoying Morzine. Wherever you are, do remember my motto, that life's much more fun when you're poodling around.